Good morning, beloveds. I'm running a little late today. And I come into the room and Foster's sitting up just behind where I normally set my camera, talking to me. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? And now he is standing on, well, he's now laid down. He's like, you're late. That's probably what it was. You're late. All right. I'm not sure what we've got today. It's nice and long. And it is by Harriet, Hale, and this is from Christian Mind Healing from 1914. So, it is April 28th. Our title is Supplication versus Acknowledgment. In giving a false estimate to being, man has established in his consciousness an untrue relationship between himself and God. Thus, he thinks of himself as a worm in the dust, imperfect and mortal, one who must approach God in a begging, pleading attitude. Such a foundation can never uphold the science of right thinking. It reminds us of one who foolishly pulls down all of the curtains in a room and then longs for the light and warmth of the sun. If your prayers have not been answered, if they have not been brought you the highest, that sentence doesn't make any sense. Okay, if they have not been brought you the highest result, do not stop praying, but learn to pray correctly. There is a right and a wrong way of doing everything, and this is true of prayer. It is Phillips Brooks who reminds us that prayer is not the beseeching of a reluctant God, but the opening of ourselves to God's willingness. And James says, the effective, fervent prayer of the righteous person availeth much. And that's James 5:16. Which statement cannot be understood to mean a virtuous moral person in any limited sense, since such often confess great failure and cannot even heal a headache with prayer. But it must mean a right thinking person or one of scientific spiritual understanding. God may be looked upon as our great banker in the bank of life, love, and truth, health, and prosperity. As we would not approach the cashier of an ordinary bank with a cry and supplication for money, provided we held the credentials, but with confidence and dignity would present our authority for the demand on the bank. So in this spirit, let us approach our good, ready to prove our childship by right thinking. Our demand thus must be honored. Okay, I think that there's a little bit of punctuation shift here, which is what was giving me a little bit of issue. But I will say, now this is, that's why I tell you the date before 1914. So Ernest published his Science of Mind textbook in 1927. And then the one that most of us use came out in, I think, 1938. So this is before Ernest. So you see where Ernest got his ideas, because that was Christian healing. So she was probably Christian Science, a Christian Science writer. And she says it, you know what? And I've heard Reverend Jesse use the same idea of bank manager. We use that same idea of to pray up, to make sure that we're depositing. And it's not because we don't need to deposit goodwill in the bank. That's not why he uses that metaphor. Same thing here. It's like if God is a bank manager, and this is a bank of infinite love, abundance, prosperity, truth, whatever it is that we're coming to, then what we don't go, as she says, we don't go to the bank and cry and plead. We don't go to the bank and plead for what is ours by right. What we do is we walk in, we present our credentials, and we ask for what it is that we want. We state what we want. We state what we want. I can't even say that we ask for what we want. We state what we want. And then the cashier does their job by giving us, the teller gives us what we asked for. Okay. And so that's her idea here. It's like, so supplication versus acknowledgement. Don't beg, don't plead. You don't have to beg and plead. You already have all of the credentials that you need to get what you want from Spirit. What you need to do is come in alignment. And it cracks me up that she says, well, you need to learn to pray right. You need to learn to pray correctly. She didn't pull any punches there. So her first paragraph was a little hard to deal with. By giving a false estimate to being, we've established our consciousness in untrue relationship between ourselves and God. Okay. Thus, we think of ourselves as little more than a worm in the dust, imperfect and mortal. No, that's not who we are. The center of our being, the ground of our being is Spirit, of which there is only one. There's one Spirit, and we are part of that Spirit. Okay. Such a foundation can never uphold the science of right thinking. It reminds us of one who foolishly pulls down all the curtains and then longs for the light and warmth. When she said that, I was like, I thought she was pulling the curtains down, and then you were like, if you close all your curtains and then you want light. Okay, well, you did it to yourself, is what she's saying. You did it to yourself. If your prayers have not been answered, if they have, see, that sentence doesn't, if they haven't brought you the highest result, don't stop praying, but change the way you are praying. Okay. But learn to pray correctly is what she says. There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And this is true prayer. And then she quotes Phillips Brooks, which makes me wonder if they're related to, the Nona Brooks, who's created Divine Science. Prayer is not the beseeching of a reluctant God, but the opening of ourselves to God's willingness. And I've said that before and we'll say it again. We come into alignment with God. And that is how we get what we want. It's like God can only do through us, can only do for us what God can do through us. So the opening of ourselves to God's willingness, we come into alignment with God. And then she quoted James 5:16, the effective fervent prayer of the righteous person availeth much, which cannot be understood to mean a virtuous moral man. What? Because in a limited sense, such often confess great failure and cannot even heal a headache with prayer, but must mean a right thinking person or one with scientific spiritual understanding. She's like, no. It's like that old thing of if I have to tell you I'm a lion, I'm not really a lion. If I have to tell you I'm a lamb, I'm not really a lamb. It's like if I have to tell you that I am a virtuous moral person, I'm probably not. My actions should demonstrate what my words are failing to communicate. Okay, so she goes and she uses this really fine example. God may be looked upon as our great banker in the bank of life, love, and truth, health, and prosperity. We would not approach a cashier in an ordinary bank with a cry and supplication for money, as long as we held the credentials, but with confidence and dignity would present our authority for the demand on the bank. So that's what she's saying. Present your credentials, pray with confidence and authority. So in the Spirit, let us approach our great good, ready to prove our childship by right thinking. Our demand will be thus honored. So that is Harriet Hale Ricks. So your mission today, should you choose to accept it, is to approach God, approach prayer with confidence and authority. Confidence and authority. Reverend Jesse has used that bank manager very effectively, and It's like, okay, well, this is where our teachers got it from. Probably. Approach with confidence and authority. You have all of the credentials you need already within you. As I like to remind you, you are born with the Christ consciousness pre-installed. The password to access that is love. There are your credentials and there are your authority. Activate your Christ consciousness. Come into alignment with God. So, supplication versus acknowledgement. All right. And then I'm going to give you the same suggestion that I give you every day. The spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. And I do think that one of the most loving, kind, and compassionate things that you can do is to come in alignment and pray with authority. Pray as if you are going to receive. Don't beg, don't plead, don't beseech. Come to the table and say, this is what I desire. This is the good that I am going to do with. I don't see how you can go wrong by doing that. And trust me, Science of Mind teaches plenty of classes on prayer. Credentials and authority. You already have them. Access that Christ consciousness. All right, but loving, kind, and compassionate. It also looks like taking a deep breath. It looks like taking a walk. It looks like taking a nap. It looks like taking a break. It looks like eating dessert first. It looks like self-care. Absolutely. I'm not trying to sell you something any other than self-care. If you are going to live a life of service, then you cannot pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself. 1, you are your own best test subject. You get immediate feedback. Was that loving, kind, and compassionate? 2, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. 3, if you practice it every day, you are creating a first response. And I want to remind you the difference between a reaction and a response is a moment of consciousness, which can be literally a moment to, as much time as you need. It is being conscious about your response. So practice this on yourself. You are a beloved child of God. You deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. And make room for joy. Okay? That is part of this spiritual practice of love, kindness, and compassion. It is about making room for joy. No matter what is going on in the world, you deserve joy. So make room in your life for it. Make room in your life for it. When you go to the bank of life, make sure that that's one of the things you're withdrawing is joy. All right. All right. The rest of the suggestions, because like I said, big believer in self-care. Make sure to do something to engage your mind and your body, unless today is your day of rest, which is part of why I'm a little discombobulated today. My day of rest. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. Your brain works better when it's well hydrated. And please get early in your day bright light. Looks like it is a beautiful day out there. So I'm looking forward to go and touching the sun for a moment. And when I say that, I'm talking 5 or 10 minutes. That's it. It is called a circadian rhythm. It is a natural hormone cycle. That early in your day bright light, and artificial does count. If you get up before the sun, that light will go a long way to resetting those hormones. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. Okay. Last thing in my suggestions is my quote from Ernest Holmes. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. Okay? It's all God. It's all God. Everything is made from the same source. And there is only one source, which is God. So it is up to us to be willing to look around and let the scales fall from our eyes and see that everything is sacred. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to take Emma's advice, look for the good and praise it. All right? So, it is take it. Henrietta Ricks. That was pretty amazing. These women in 1914. Yes. I'm loving these strong women role models to grow my consciousness. So, all right. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So I do encourage you to take advantage of the content that we do try and put up there as often as we can. Because, we're all busy professionals working this working this stuff. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact email, and the hot links are hot. Like yesterday, I clicked one of those hot links and it took me right to the email so that I could email the person for the link for the Philosophy Fridays, which I'm very excited about. So that's all good and wonderful. That's a Zoom thing. And so I look forward to seeing what that's like. That starts, well, I don't know when it actually started, but it's kind of a conversion and they just want to keep doing it. I'm like, so you can drop in and drop out. I'm excited. So, all right. Yeah, hot links. And I guess I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a Friday, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God. You are a divine spark, a brilliant light, a spirit in motion, God in action, a godling. All right? Know who you are. Come to understand the truth of your of your being, and accept your credentials and your authority, so that when you go to the bank manager, you do so with authority and confidence. All right? Know who you are. All right, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.